Hello my friends, today we're learning about the Basra Daf Kuf Nun Daled. We're going to start Kuf Nun Gimel on the base at the bottom of the page. וחכמים אומרים המוציא מחברו עליו הראיה. ראיה במאי? רב הונא אמר ראיה בעדים. רב חיסדא ברבא בר רב הונא אמרי ראיה בקיום השטר. רב הונא אמר ראיה בעדים כמפלגי בפלוגתא דרב יעקב ורב נתן, רב יעקב ורב נתן. רב מאיר כרב נתן, ורבנן כרב יעקב. רב חיסדא ברבא בר רב הונא אמרי ראיה בקיום השטר כמפלגי. במודה בשטר שכוסבו צריך לקיימו. רב מאיר סבר מודה בשטר שכתבו, לא צריך לקיימו. ורבנן סברי מודה בשטר שכתבו, צריך לקיימו. הפליגו בו אחד הזים דתניא, אין נאמנים לפוסלו דברי רבי מאיר. וחכמים אומרים נאמנים, צריכה דית, מראי בעיקר אמרי רבנן משום דלים מעדים ומרא שטר. ולהכה הוא דלת כל קמינא אמה לו. והיא יתמר בהא כאמר רב מאיר, אבל באח אמה מודו לו רבנן צריכה. So this Gemara, we're trying to explain the Mishnah on Daf Kuf Nun Gimel Amud Aleph. The case was Reuven gave a matana to Shimon, and now they come to Beis Din. And Reuven says, yes, I gave this matana to Shimon, but I was a shchivmira. I was on my deathbed, and now I'm changing my mind. And therefore, I could be choyzer, not the shchivmira, I could be choyzer if I got better. And Shimon says, no, you are healthy like an ox, and he gave me this present, and you have no way to be choyzer from this matana. I have a star over here. So and then it says in the Mishnah, Rameh says, tzorich lo aviraya the shishchi mira oyo divra meh, v'chachomim miroitzi michaver ola viraya. So we explained already the machloikus in one mahalech. Over here the Gemara is going to come with two mahalchim how to explain the Gemara. So tell the Gemara, what's the raya that we're talking about? So Rav Huna says it's a raya be'edim, like we explained earlier on. That the machloikus is, Rameh holds, we go after the matzav now of the person, of Reuven who gave the matana. Now he's healthy. And he's tiring that in the past when he wrote this matana, he was a shchimra. So we have a chazaka against that because now he's healthy and we assume he was always healthy and therefore he needs to bring a raya, the edim, that he was a shchimra. And if not, this matana goes to Shimon. And Chacham say, we don't look at the person, we look at the mominus, where this mominus, where the present, in whose hands it is. It's in Reuven's hands, so he's muchzik. So Shimon needs to bring a raya that Reuven was healthy when he wrote the present. Otherwise, we keep the matana by Reuven, that's muchzik. And if Shimon doesn't bring a raya be'edim that he was healthy, he doesn't get the matana. That's how Rav Huna explains the machlokes in the Mishnah, like we explained last time. And Rav Chisda and also Rabbah, the son of Rav Huna, say the raya in the Mishnah is kiyum hashtar. So the Gemara explained, the Rav Huna says it's be'edim, the machlokes is like Rav Yaakov and Rav Nosson, like we explained on Kuf Nun Gimel Amud Beis. Aryeh holds like Rav Nosson, that you go after the person if he's healthy now, we assume he was always healthy, and he has to bring a raya opposite if he wants to prove otherwise. And Rabbanan say that we go a chazaka like Rav Yaakov, that we go after the mominus where the mominus is muchzik. And Rav Chisda and Rabbi Bar Avuna explain no, that the machlokes in the Mishnah is a whole different thing. The machlokes is b'kiyum hashtar. That means if we know that this star is good, that means Eidim come and say, we signed the shtar. Everyone agrees that since this guy is a bori, we assume that he was always a bori and therefore wasn't a matna shchimra and the possessions go to Shimon. The shaila is over here, we don't have Eidim that the shtar is good. And Reuven Be'etzem is moida that he gave the shtar. But why is he tainering? He's tainering that he was a shchimra and therefore it's the present, now that he got better, is no chal. So therefore, the machlokes, if someone comes, Reuven, it says the shtar, the Reuven owes Shimon £1,000, and Reuven admits that the shtar is correct, but he says parati. So if we have Eidim that the shtar is good, so everyone agrees that Reuven has to pay, because why the shtar by Shimon, the malveh? But the question is, if we don't have Eidim, and Reuven admits that he wrote the shtar, but doesn't admit that he didn't pay off. So Rameh holds someone who admits to a shtar, you don't need to make it. You have here his admission that him admitting, and Udas Baldim Keveridin Domi, so once he admits that the star is good, you can't start and come and say Parati, or you can't come and say, oh, I was a Shchimera, and therefore we give the Nechasim to Shimon. Rabbanon hold, no, even that person's moira that the star is good, if he times that he says Parati, he's believed, and the reason why is because he has a migu. If he's a liar, he could have said it's a mezuyif de star. And since he never said that, believe him to say that it's Parati until you make the star. And if you don't make the star, we don't believe the malva. And therefore, in our case, says Rabbanon, since the star is not mekuyim, very good, the Noitzin Matona admits that it's a good star, but he's timing he was a shchimera, so therefore, until you don't make the star, we believe him that it's a shchimera. Well, if it's this, it comes out that if we do have Eidim that it's a good star, everyone agreed that we assume that it was done by Bori, because now he's Bori. Ask the Gemara, but we had already this machlokes between Chachamim and Rameh. They said in the Brisa, if Eidim come and say, we are Eidim about this star, but they say, but we were forced to write this star, so it's not good star, or they say we were Ktanim, we were apostle. So it said in the Brisa, once they said that they wrote the star, they don't have ability anymore to passel it, because now it's a good star. Now you're coming and saying that it's not good star. We don't believe you, because once you mekayim it, you can't say anymore it's possible. That shit has Rameh, like we said just before. And Chachamim say that these Eidim who say we wrote the star, but we were Ktanim, we were Psulim, we were Anusim, they are believed because they're the ones who mekayim it, and they say no, it's not a good star. So therefore, it's the same machlokes. Why are Rabbanon and Rameh having a machlokes about these two things twice? It's a reputation. Says the Gemara, no, we need them to be cholik in both places. Why? Because if the machlokes would be only over there by the Eidim, so you'd say, there Rabbanon say that we believe the Eidim, because the Eidim are not negea to the Eidim. They just come to say what happened. So therefore, if the Eidim say we wrote a star, but it was a apostle like a star, we believe them. But by us, where the person himself admitted that it's a good star now, he himself was negea in this story, is coming to tell us stories, parati, or he's coming to say, I was a shchimera, why should you believe him? So if you'd have only the machlokes about Eidim, you wouldn't know that Rabbanon also hold that about the person himself as Noigea Be'edus. And if you'd have the machlokes here only by us, by the person himself, you'd say over here Rameh says we don't believe him, and once he admitted it's a good star, you can't start saying Parati or saying he was a Shchimera. But in the case of Eidim, for sure the Eidim themselves, so non Noigea, who come and say we wrote the star, but the star is possible, so for sure we'll believe them. That's why we need the machlokes of Rameh also over there by the Eidim who coming and saying that it's a apostle de kashtar. The afilu achi Rameh holds we don't believe the Eidim, and that's why we need both machlokes. Let's continue in the Gemara. V'chein amar Rabba raya be'edim amar le'abai mai tama ine ima medikulu k'tiv be'u kada v'malech ha'raglayu b'shuka u'beholo k'tiv ba'ashma min ha'shchimera ve'adrab medikulu k'tiv be'u kad katzir v'rami ba'ase v'lo k'tiv ba Shema min Aryeh, Abe. Ikre memarachi v'ikre memarachi. Uki mamoina b'cheskat mari. So Rabbah said the Gemara explains that the machlokes between Rameh and Chachamim in the Mishnah is also who, after what chazaka do we go? Like Rav Huna at the top of the page. Do we go after the chazaka of the money, or do we go after the chazaka of the person? And comes Abaye to explain the shittas of Rabbanon that we say Amoitzi mechaver olav raya, and therefore until the Mekabel doesn't bring the raya that he was a bori, we leave it b'yad anoisin. He says the follows. Because if you're going to say, because it didn't say in it, normally in the shtar bori it says that the person was a healthy person, he was a bori. And here it doesn't say it, so it must be he was a shchimera. But you could say the opposite. That in all matne shchimera it said that the guy was lying in his deathbed, and here it didn't say it must be the bori. So since there's a tzad to say that he's a bori, there's a tzad to say that he's a shchimera and it's not clear, therefore we don't know, we're in a Sophic, and therefore, we leave the money where it is, Lefishitas Chachomim, and we leave it Biad Reuven, who's the Nois and Matona, until Shimon proves otherwise. Continue the Gemara, I'm going to read it inside, with Plukta. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Raya Be'edim, Rabbi Shimon Lakish Amar Raya B'kiyum Ashtar. Eti ורבי יוחנן לרבי שמעון לקיש, מייסה בבני ברק, ואחד שמכר בנכסי אביו, הוא מת, ובאו בני משפחה והרהרו לומר קטן היה, בשעת מיתה. ובאו ושאלו את רבי עקיבא, מהו לבודקו? אמר להם, אי אתם רשאים לנבלו. ועוד סימנים העשויים להשתנות לאחר מיתה, קנ"ד עמוד ב'. בישלמי לדידי דאמין הראיה בעדים, כיוון דאמר ללקוחות הייתו עדים ולא ישכחו עין דקה עטו ואמרו מהו לבודקו. אלא לדידך דאמרת ראיה בקיום השטר, למה לא לבודקו לקיימו נשטר ולוקנו בנכסי. מי סברס נכסי בחזקת בני משפחה קיימה וקעתו לקוחות ומעררי, נכסי בחזקת לקוחות קיימה וקעתו בני משפחה וכמעררי. אך אינם מסתברא, נדקה אמר לו, אי אתם רשאים לנבלו והשתיקו. היא אמרת בשני בני משפחה כמעררי משום אחי ישתיקו. אלה היא אמרת לקוחות כמעררי, מה ישתיקו לימו לאנן זוזי יבין ננבל ולנבל. אם הוא שומעה לא יריה, אחי כאמר לו, חדה די אתם רשאים לנבלו, ועוד וכיתם זוזי שקל ננבל ולנבל, סימנים עשויים להשתנות לאחר מיתה. So we're going to explain this Gemara. Says the Gemara, the Machloikas of Rav Huna and Rav Chizda and Rabbi Bar Rav Huna, what's pshat in the Mishnah is also the same Machloikas for Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish. The Rabbi Yochanan learns that the Machloikas in the Mishnah is, when it says you need to bring a raya, it means a raya be'edim to say if he was a shchimera or he was a bori, like Rav Huna. And Rav Shimon Lakish says the raya is b'kiyum ashtar. The whole raya is to say that the shtar is good or not. But if we have a raya that the shtar is good, everyone agrees that the Mekabel gets it. Because we know Choishesh that he was a shchimera. On that, Rabbi Yochanan asked Rish Lakish about the story in Bnei Brak. And the way we understand it now in the Havamina was talking about, there was someone, Reuben died, and there is a din that his Yorshim can't sell his Nechosim until they're 20 years old. And one of his Yorshim, let's say Reuben, went and sold the Nechosim of his father that he Yarshimed. And he had other brothers. And now this Reuben passed away. And came the Bnei Mishpacha and Me'ara to say that he was a Kotonoi or B'Shas Nisa, that even when Reuben died, he wasn't 20 yet, and therefore he has no right to sell these Nechosim to the Lekuchas, and therefore the sales no chal, we want the Nechosim to stay by us. And in this stage we understand that the Nechosim was still in the hands of the Yorshim. And they came and they asked the Shaila to Rabbi Akiva, who lived in Bnei Brak. As we know, in Bnei Brak nowadays there's a street called Rabbi Akiva. And we know also from that Goda. And they asked, can we check the body, dig up Reuben who's dead and see if he was a Godel or a cotton? And if he was a Godel, the Mechir is Chal. If he was a cotton, the Mechir is not Chal. So Rabbi Akiva told them two things. First of all, you're not allowed to be menavel. He's buried already. To dig him up, it's a nivul ames. And another thing is, even if you do it, you won't be a good dryer, because after death, the body changes and he might look differently. Maybe he was a cotton and he looks like a godel. Maybe he's a godel and he looks like a cotton. And therefore it won't help to dig him up. Until here, the story, this brisa. Says Rabbi Yochanan to Rish Lakish, Kufn Daled Amud Beis, very good. Lefi my shitta, that the whole machloikis between Chachomim and Rameh and the Mishnah is about Eidim, to bring a raya if he was a shchimera or he was a bori. So it makes sense. So we told the Lekuchos, bring Eidim to prove that he was a Godel. And the Lekuchot could not find Eidim to prove that this Reuben was a Godel when he sold this field. And therefore the Lekuchos came to Rabbi Akiva and said, we want to check, we want to dig up the grave. It makes sense, because if he's a Godel, it would be a proof that the sale's a sale. Says Rabbi Yochanan to Rish Lakish, B'lefi your shita. That's the whole raya, the whole machlokes Mishnah is Eidim to be Mikayim the star. But if you have Eidim to Mikayim the star, that proves that it's a good star, and therefore we follow the star. Why do you need to check the dead body? Just bring Eidim that the star is a good star, and then you should get the Nechosim. Because everyone, it's Lefi Rish Lakish that wants to Mikayim the star. We follow the star. So here, just bring Aiden. The star is a good star. Elamai, it must be that the whole machlokes in the Mishnahs, do we believe if it's a shchibra or not? Not only about Mekayim the star. And that the Gemara's doicha or Rish Lakish answered Rabbi Yochanan. Do you think that's talking about that the Nechosim were in the chazaka of the Yershim and came the Lekuchois and say we want it? No, it's talking about the Nechosim was in the hands of the Lekuchois. And came the family, the Yershim, and they said we want it back because he sold it to you when he was young. And therefore, they wanted to look up the mace to prove that he was a young guy when he sold it. Said the Gemara, and I'll bring you Aryeh that's the case. It's talking about that we were trying to mutzit miad the Yershim are trying to mutzit miad lekuches, and not the lekuches are trying to mutzit miad Yershim, because it's what did Rabbi Akiva tell them? Rabbi Akiva told them you're not allowed to dig up the dead person because you're not allowed to menavel, and they kept quiet. They never answered. So if you're going to tell me it's talking about the Bnei Mishpacha, the Yershim, who wanted to dig up their brother to look if he was a Koton or Godel, that's why they kept quiet, because the Rabbi Akiva told them that's not nice to dig up your brother for money things you menavel him. But if you're going to tell me the Lekuchos were the ones who were demanding to dig up this dead Reuven, why did they keep quiet? Why did they accept Rabbi Akiva's din? They should say, we gave money to this Reuven. Now the fields are not by us. I don't care if he becomes maneuver. We don't care if he's maneuver or not. It's not our business. We want to prove that was a godel. Why is our business if he's misnavel alidei, if we lost money? Elamai, it must be that the Yershim were trying to be moitzim lekuchoy, and Rabbi Akiva told them, well, you want to be menaveli brother, and therefore they had nothing to say. It's a bit of a chiddush. The svara of menuvel is that you're not allowed to do it, cover the mace for money. You're not allowed to dig someone up. But it seems like the Gemara was happy with this, and the Gemara says no, that's not Aryeh. That's the situation of the story of Rabbi Akiva and Bnei Brak, because it could be really it was the lekuchos who wanted to dig him up because the nechosim will be at the Yershim. Or why didn't they tell Rabbi Akiva we don't care about his nivel? This is pshat. Rabbi Akiva told him two things. First of all, you're going to navel this mace and it's not nice. On that they really could have answered him, we don't care. But second of all, and that's the main thing, is that Rabbi Akiva told him, even if you dig him up, it won't be Aryeh because you can't prove from Lachar Misa what the state of this person was before Misa, because Simonim change, Simonim of a person change after he dies, and therefore it won't help to dig him up. And therefore they kept quiet, mainly because of the second taina of Rabbi Akiva, not because of the first taina. Continue the Gemara by the brackets. Sha'al Rabbi Shimon מלקיש רבי יוחנן, זו ששנויה במשנת בר קפרא, הרי שהיה אוכל לשדה ובא בחזקת שלו, וקרא עליו אחר אחד ערער. לומר שלי, והוציא זה את עונו, לומר שמכרת לי, או שנתת לי במתנה. אם אמר איני מכיר בשטר ומעולם, יתקיים השטר בחותמה. אם אמר השטר פסים הוא, זה או שטר אמנה שמכרתי לך, ולא נתת לי דמים. אם יש עדים, הלך החרדי. ואם לאו הלך אחר השטר. למה רמי היא? דאמר מודה בשטר שכתבו אין צורך לקמו ולא רבנן. אמר לי לא. שאני אומר דברי הכל, מודה בשטר שכתבו אין צורך לקמו. והמפלג פליגי דתנן אין נאמנים לפוסלו דברי רמי וחכם אומרים נאמנים. אמר לי אי עדים עלימי ומר השטר יהיו כל כמיני. אמר לי בעלה משמך הוא יפה יראו בני משפחה. אמר לי, זו אלעזר אמרה, אני לא אמרתי דבר זה מעולם. אמר רב זרע, אם יכפור רבי יוחנן ברב אלעזר תלמידו יכפור ברבי ינאי רבו, אמר רבי ינאי, אמר רבי מודה בשטר שכתבו צריך לקיימו, ואמר לי רבי יוחנן רבי לאו משנתנו איזו, וחכום אומרים המוצאים חברו עליו הראיה, אין ראיה אלא בקיום השטר. ורם נראים דברי רבנו יוסף, דאמר רבנו יוסף, אמר רבי יהודה, אמר שמואל, זו דברי חכמים. אבל רמר אומר מודה בשטר שכתבו צריך לקיימו. ומאי דברי הכל, דרבנן לגבי רמר דברי הכל היא. והיא בחתנן וחכום אומרים המוצאים חברו עליו הראיה. הפוך. והתניא, אין נאמנים לפסלו דברי רמר וחכום אומרים נאמנים. הפוך. והרבי יוחנן ראיה בעדין כאמר. הפוך. למלא פוכנה מטיובתא, לא קנ"ה עמוד א', אחי כאמר לי רבי יוחנן לרב שמעון בן לקיש, בישלי מלדידה מן הראיה בקיום השטר, היינו דמשכחת לה, דנחתי לקוחות בנכסים, אלא דידך דאמרת ראיה בעדים, איך היא משכחת לה, דנחתי לקוחות בנכסים? אמר לי, מודינה לך בערר בני משפחה, דלה וערערו, מהי כאמרי קטן היה? חזקה אין הדין חותמים על השטר, אלא אם כן נעשה גדול. So this part of the Gemara is a bit more complicated than the Cheshbon, and I hope I managed to explain it correctly. So the Gemara said that Rabbi Shimon Lakish asked Rabbi Yochanan. It said in the Mishnah of Bar Kapra, a story, a din, someone who was eating in a field, and we have a chazaka, we know it's his field so far, we don't know anything otherwise. Let's call him Reuven. Came Shimon and said, no, it's mine. And he brought a star, he took out a star, and it said over there that Reuven sold it to Shimon. Or Reuven gave it a present to Shimon. So what is Reuven tailoring? It says in the Mishnah Bar Kapra, if Reuven said, I never seen the star, I've never seen the star, this is a false star. So that means Shimon needs to prove that it's a good star, that it has proper good eidim on it. And therefore, we believe what's in the star and we'll take away the field from Reuven and give it to Shimon. But if Reuven tainas, it was a star pasim or star mono. Star pasim means that Reuven says, I never gave you or sold you the star. The reason why the star exists, yes, I wrote the star, but it was a star pasim, meaning you needed to prove the bank that you have possession, that they should give you a loan. So I made the star that this belongs to you just for you to get a loan, or people think you have money, but it really wasn't yours. I never gave it to you, really. I never sold it to you. Or star amona is that you write a star before you actually do the deal, and you trust the person that is going to give you the money, so you give him the star already, and then Reuven says, he never gave me the money. So if this is what Reuven kindness says in the Mishnah or Kapra, if we have Eidim that it's true that it was a star mono or star pasim, so therefore we believe Reuven. And if not, if Reuven doesn't have such eidim, we just follow the star, we believe, because moite b'star shekosva, it's not like kaima lechera, that's a din over here. And therefore we follow the star, he agrees that it's a star, he's just coming to say it's a mono pasim, we don't believe him, and we follow the star, and Reuven has to give it to Shimon. So Rish Lakish asked Rabbi Yochanan, lechera, this only goes if we're a male. Who may hold the moide b'shtar shekosva in tzarich lekaima, and therefore, because even though they says star mono, star pasim, you don't need to be kind the star, because it's lefish tasrameh, and it's not rabbanon, because rabbanon hold tzarich lekaima. So said Rabbi Yochanan to Rish Lakish, no, I say everyone holds that if the person is moide that he wrote the star, you don't need to be Mekayim, you don't need Eidim to prove that it's a good star. Once he agrees that it's a good star, we don't need to prove from the Eidim that it's a good star once the Loivitain is it's a good star. And therefore, in this case, since Reuven says, yeah, it's a star, but it was a Mona Pasim, we don't believe it's a Mona and Pasim, and it's not told on the Machloikas Rameh and Chachomim, it's Lefishitas Divrei HaKol. Says the Gemara on this, how can you tell me, how could Rabbi Yochanan say that there's no machloikis if moide b'shtar shekosva tzarich lekaima or not? The choilek about it that we learned in the Brisa, it says that nan, but the girls on the side is the Tanya, the Brisa that we brought on Medalev, that about the Eidim who say that this is our writing, we wrote the shtar, but we were ktanim, we were psulim, that they not believed to pass on it. That Shittas Rameh, Chachomim say they all believed. That means Chachomim hold moide b'shtar shekosva ein tzarich lekaimoi. And how is Rabbi Yochanan coming and saying that everyone admit the ein tzarich lekaimoi? So Rabbi Yochanan told Rish Lakish, if you're going to bring the Aryeh from Eidim, okay, for sure, Eidim who are not involved in non-Igea, they could say, listen, we wrote the shtar, but we were apostle. But the person himself, once he admitted that the shtar is good, he can't come and time a mezuyev, parati, or I was a shchimmer or something like that. There the machlokes could the Eidim be choizer, like the svara we said on Amud Aleph. As I have, I hear Rabbi Yochanan saying the maskana, that's go to there the machlokes. Could the Eidim say that it's possible once they admit it? But the person himself can't say such a thing. So Rish Lakish told Rabbi Yochanan, what are you talking about? From your name they said, in the case of Nebrak, that the Bnei Mishpacha were ma'ara properly. Meaning, even though that they admitted that the shtar, that their brother Reuben wrote it, but the Tanring, he was underage, they have a good ear. That means moide b'shtar shekosmoi tzarech l'kaimo. And here you're telling me everyone agrees she'ain tzarech l'kaimo. So Rabbi Yochanan answered, no, that what you heard, b'shemi, it wasn't me, it was my Talmud. Rabbi Loza said it. I never said this ever. I never said such a sitter. So comes Rabbi Zera and he says, very good, Rabbi Yochanan could be koifa and Rabbi Loza and say what we just said before is in the name of his Talmud, it's not in his name. But will he be koifa in his Rebbe, Rabbi Yanai? Why? Because Rabbi Yanai said that Rebbe's shitte is, Rebbe the Eilige Tana holds, that moide b'shtar shekosvoi tzarech l'kaimoi. And on that Rabbi Yochanan told him, to Rabbi Yanai, on that Rabbi Yochanan told to Rebbe, is that not our Mishnah? Why are you telling me tzarech l'kaimoi, that your shitte, it's our Mishnah. What's a Mishnah? Our Mishnah that we learned here, Chacham say, Amoitze mechaber olav Aryeh. Meaning there's no raya, only b'kiyum ashtar. Meaning the Chachamim in the Mishnah say that Chachamim in the Mishnah say Amoitzim chaver of raya, meaning you need a raya to mekayim the shtar. That means Rabbi Yochanan's learning that the machlokes in the Mishnah is if shtar shemoide shekosvoi tzarech l'kaimo or not. And Chachamim say, tzorach l'kaimoi. So how could Rabbi Yochanan say that everyone agrees she'en tzorach l'kaimoi? Continues Rabbi Zera and says, but I'll explain your teretz to these kashas. Because it seems like what Rabbi Yosef said, our Rebbe Rabbi Yosef said in the name of Rabbi Yehuda and the name of Shmuel, that Chachamim hold moide b'shtar shekosvoi ein tzorech l'kaimoi. But Rameh holds moide b'shtar shekosvoi, you need to be mekayim it. And therefore it fits into what Rabbi Yochanan said earlier on that everyone admit they need to be mekayim. It means the fichachom. Let's continue and explain. And when Rabbi Yochanan said divrei hakoil, Rabbi Yochanan said that divrei hakoil moide b'shtar shekosvoi tzorech l'kaimoi. Ein tzorech l'kaimoi. It doesn't mean really divrei hakoil that if no machlokes. For sure, Rameh and Chachamim machlok. But when we have Rameh against Chachamim are roiv. So divrei Rameh are not relevant. It's as if Rameh never even spoke, and therefore we go after Chachamim, and we are changing Chachamim, and we're saying the Chachamim are the ones who hold ein tzorech l'kaimoi, and therefore that's what Rabbi Yochanan said earlier. Moide b'shtar shekosvoi ein tzorech l'kaimoi. That everyone agrees. It means that Rabbanon hold so. On that the Gemara asks the obvious question, but by us, in our Mishnah it says the opposite. It says Chachamim moitzi mechaber olav Aryeh. That means tzorech l'kaimoi. So the Gemara Epuch, we turn over in our Mishnah that it's Rameh who says you need to be mekayim it, but Chachamim say you don't need to be mekayim because moite b'shtar shekosvoi ein tzorech l'kaimoi. Ask the Gemara, but in the Brisa we brought on Amodalef, it says that Eine monim lepoise divrei Rameh v'Chachamim ne'monim. We said the opposite. The Chachamim hold that moide b'shtar shekosvoi tzorech l'kaimoi by the case of Eidim. On that the Gemara says Epuch will turn over also the Brisa over there. The Rameh says what Chachamim says, and Chachamim says what Rameh says, and therefore it comes out that Chachamim hold ein tzorech l'kaimoi. Ask the Gemara, l'chera, we said that how does Rabbi Yochanan explain the Mishnah by us, the machlokes between Rameh and Chachamim, that the shaila is between Rameh and Chachamim, do you need to bring a raya be'edim that he's a shkimara, do you not, or do you need to bring a raya be'edim that he's a bori? But not the shaila is if moide b'shtar shekosvoi tzorech l'kaimoi. That's not enough. So the Gemara Epuch will turn that over as well, that Rabbi Yochanan is the one who learns that the machlokes in the Mishnah is, do you need to be mekayim the shtar or do you not need to be mekayim the shtar? Raya of kiyum ashtar, not raya be'edim. Said the Gemara, if so, that we turned all this around and we're learning that the machlokes Rameh and Chachamim in the Mishnah is the opposite to Shittas. And we're saying that Rabbi Yochanan is the one who says that the Machlokes in the Mishnah is B'shtar Moide B'shtar Shekos V'Tzorch L'Kaima or not, and Rish Lakish is the one who says that the Machlokes in the Mishnah is Be'edim. So let's also turn around at the top of the page by us. It started at the bottom of Amud Aleph. Rabbi Yochanan asked the Kasha Rish Lakish. So we have to say that was Rish Lakish asking the Kasha Rabbi Yochanan if we're turning over the Shittas. On that the Gemara says no, that you don't need to turn around. So the Gemara Kufnun Hey Amud Aleph, this is Pshat. That Rabbi Yochanan asked Rish Lakish. So Rabbi Yochanan holds that the Machlokes in the Mishnah is that do you need to mekayim the shtar be'edim or not? And Rish Lakish holds the Machlokes in the Mishnah is do you need to bring edim that he was a bari or shchimera or not? And says Rabbi Yochanan to Rish Lakish in the case about the case in Bnei Brak where the son sold the property of his father and he passed away and there was a machlokes if he was a cotton or a gadol, we're assuming that it's talking about like we tried bringing a raya that's so much that the lekuchos are holding onto the nechosim already. It's not biad Yerushim. So says Rabbi Yochanan to Rish Lakish, very good for me that the whole machlokes in our Mishnah is Moide B'shtar Shekos V'Tzorch L'Kaima or not. It makes sense how the lekuchos got to the nechosim. Why? Because the lekuchos were mekayim the shtar, and therefore they got the nechosim and therefore, even without being mekayim the shtar, because moide b'shtar shekos in tzorch l'kaimo, so the lekuchos got the nechosim, and now the other Yerushim coming to say that he was a cotton. Says Rabbi Yochanan to Rish Lakish, b'lefi your shitta that the machlokes in the Mishnah is raya be'edim. So, and we passed like Chachamim that lefi your shitta Rish Lakish Chachamim say that moitzi mechaber olav raya. So what's pshat? That how did the lekuchos ever get these nechosim? Meiche Tesa these lekuchos got these nechosim. Why should they get it? Chachamim paskin moitzi mechaber olav raya. Therefore, the nechosim will muchzik biad the Yerushim. They should stay by them. How did they ever come to the lekuchos? So on that, Rish Lakish answered to Rabbi Yochanan, I argue with you about Moide B'shtar Shekos V'Tzorch L'Kaima or not. But in a case over here, where the Bnei Mishpacha tiny that the Korov Mishpacha was a cotton, there it's not considered a good error. And therefore the lekuchos got the nechosim. And I'll tell you why. Because we have a chazaka, the Eidim would never sign on a shtar if we don't see that the person who's selling the items is a gadol. If he's not 20 years old, a gadol enough to sell it, they'll never write it. So if they're moided that they wrote the shtar, that means obviously the Eidim knew he was a gadol. Now the Yerushim coming and saying he was a cotton, we don't believe them, and that's why the lekuchos got the nechosim. And therefore, there's no kasha on me, Rish Lakish, says Rish Lakish to Rabbi Yochanan. Thank you very much. We should all be blessed and have a great day.